Hello everyone, you're welcome to my channel. You're welcome to Decenstitch. If you're a new subscriber or returning subscriber, you're welcome. Please kindly like, share, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe and click the notification bell. Thank you. These are my basic or essential pattern drafting tools. With this, I can pattern anything I want. There are other tools, but these are the most important ones that you can start with. These are the essentials. The first thing here is the pattern drafting paper. I have a white paper here. There's also brown pattern paper. Whichever type of paper, you will need a pattern paper. Next, you will need a pencil. I would advise you use a pencil, not a pen, not a marker. Use a pencil, a very good pencil. And don't use art pencils. Pencils that are very dark, very thick. Use this type. This type, we call it HB. Yeah, it's very good for pattern drafting. Then I have an eraser, because mistake is bound to happen. So you can always clean up your mistake. But if you use a pen or a marker, you won't be able to clean it off. And then you have multiple lines. Your pattern won't look nice and presentable. I have a sharpener. I use this to sharpen my pencil. Always work with a sharp pencil, a pointed pencil, so you can have a thin line and smooth line. Then I have my tracing wheel. I use this to trace from one paper to the other paper. I put a paper underneath and trace it out. Most especially curved lines. I hardly use this for straight lines. I use this instead for a straight line. I get the edges, then remove my paper and draw the straight line out. Because when you use this multiple times, it tends to tear your paper and separate your paper. So I only use this for curved lines. Then these are thumbtacks. They are used to trace out points on my pattern. For instance, the dart. If I want to trace out my dart to another paper, I will use a tracing wheel. It's not the best. I will use the thumbtack to get the points, the edges of the dart. Then remove the paper and use my ruler to connect the dart. Since it's a straight line, I can just connect the dots I made with the thumbtack. Then I have a scissors. This is a paper scissors. You can have the smaller size. Make sure you have a separate scissors for fabric and a separate scissors for paper cutting. I'm using this big scissors because it's an old scissors and it's dull. I can't use it for fabric, so I turned it into a paper scissors. This is strictly for paper cutting. Very important. The next thing I have here is a calculator. You will surely need to calculate at one point or the other of patterning. You will need a calculator to calculate your measurements. The next thing I have here is a set square. Set square is very important. You will need your set square to get angles. When you need a perfect angle, you will need the set square. for your pattern drafting work. This is a tape roll. You will need a tape roll or this other type of tape is a retractable tape. You can use this too. You will need it to measure lines, measure curve. You can also use a flexible ruler. I will insert what a flexible ruler looks like in this video. You can use a flexible ruler to measure your curve, measure your neckline, armhole, any curved line. You either use a tape rule or use a flexible ruler. This is what a flexible ruler looks like. It's used for measuring and drawing curves. The next thing here is a reduction scale ruler. It has smaller sizes that a normal ruler doesn't have. The regular ruler has centimeter and inches on it. This regular ruler, you will need it. It has inches and centimeter that you can work with. In a case where you want to work with small sizes like millimeter or other smaller sizes, smaller than centimeter and inches, you will need a reduction scale ruler. If you want to do a very small size for a dummy, you can use your reduction ruler. Or if you want to draw your pattern on paper and you want the exact measurement but in a smaller size on your paper, then you use a reduction scale ruler. The next thing here is a paper tape. You will always need a paper tape when you need to join two papers together, or you need to add extra paper to a pattern work. You will need a paper tape. The next thing here is the French curves. I have different types. I have the small ones, the big ones, for different types of curve that I need to do, different shapes of curve. This also, this is 2-in-1. It has the curve and it has the straight parts that you can use as a ruler. I use it for different kind of curve, hip curve, neckline, armhole. You don't need to have all these curves. 1 or 2 different sizes will be okay. Lastly, I have these 2 items. These 2 items are not necessarily for pattern drafting. They are for storage. After making your patterns, you will need to store them. There are 2 ways to store them. Either the first one, either use this transparent sheet to store it. You can peel off this small piece up here and it becomes sticky, then you use it to store your pattern. You can peel it off and put your pattern work inside and seal it down. These are examples. You can label your paper so it will be easy to see. You can have 2 patterns in one. On one side you label, on the other side you label, so you can see both patterns inside. It's a very good option. If you don't want to fold your pattern, you can use this second tool, which is a puncher, a hole puncher. It's used to punch holes on paper or cardboard. So if you have your paper or your sloper on paper or cardboard, use this to punch it to make a hole. For instance, this is an example. As you can see, I've made a hole on it. There are different sizes. You can use any type of hole puncher that you like. I'll use this to punch my pattern or my sloper. If you have it on a cardboard or paper like I explained before, so you punch it Then use thread or rope, pass it through the hole, arrange multiple patterns and tie them and place them safely somewhere. This is the second way you can store your pattern or slipper. Punch all of them, pass your thread or rope, tie it, then hang it somewhere. I'll insert a picture of how it looks like. This is what I mean. So those are the two ways I store my pattern. These are also part of the pattern drafting tools because you need to store your patterns properly. You can't always discard your patterns, especially the sloper that you can always use to create more patterns and more designs. It's not advisable to discard them. So these are the basic pattern drafting tools.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please kindly like, share, comment, subscribe if you're new here, and click the notification bell. Thank you.